Hi, Catherine. This is Mike from Stagecoach Road Vintage Sewing Machine, and this is your Singer 66. The artwork is by Nick D'Angelo, restoration by me, of course. And this is the final test before we pack her up to ship her out to you. I haven't heard back from you yet whether you would prefer a motor or a hand crank. So we're going to do the test with a motor. And so without further ado, let's wind a bobbin. You'll find your bobbin below the slide plate here. And you just, there's a little button here that you press. That pops your bobbin up so you can pull it out. Your bobbin for this machine is a class 66 bobbin, which is slightly domed on the top and bottom. Readily available, zillions of them on eBay and all over the internet. To wind the bobbin, put your spool on the spool pin, go into this thread guide at the top here, and down to this is your bobbin winder here. So let's see. That is slightly askew. There we go. So put your spool on the spool pin, go into this thread guide at the top here, and down to your bobbin winder. Into the notch at the bottom of the bobbin winder, into the notch at the top of the bobbin winder, and onto your bobbin. Put your thread through the little hole in the side of the bobbin. This particular Singer is roughly 110 to 112 years old. So it's got the old style bobbin winder, the old style stitch length adjuster, and this is a pretty old style bobbin. It's no different from the newer metal bobbins, just you can tell by the look of the metal that it's an older type. Okay, now with the thread going on over the top of the bobbin, slide your bobbin onto the bobbin winder and turn the rubber tire until the little keeper pin on the bobbin winder goes into the hole on the side of the bobbin. Now, double checking to make sure that your thread is in keeper hole. Make sure that your thread is in the top notch and the bottom notch. Back to the thread guide, back to the spool. Now declutch your machine by turning the chrome knob in the center of the hand wheel towards you, 1/8 to 1/4 of a turn until you feel it hit its stop. And now the hand wheel, which turns the bobbin winder, is disengaged from the rest of the machine so that the machine can wind a bobbin without making the rest of the machine cycle. So, declutched, double check your thread path, make sure you're not double wrapped around or anything, and then give it a little gas. Oops. Also, press your bobbin winder in until the rubber tire makes contact with the hand wheel, because that's what turns it. This little finger will drop into the bobbin, and as the bobbin winds, it'll push that finger up until when the bobbin is full, it'll pop loose and stop winding. So here we go. No reason to go fast. You can see this little guide laying the thread down in a nice, neat layer. Okay, and that should be plenty of thread for our test. You want about 4 or 5 inches of tail. Pop that little finger up, and so it releases the bobbin winder. Then slide your bobbin off the spindle of the bobbin winder and recollect your machine by tightening the chrome knob in the center of the hand wheel. And now, let's see, with the thread coming off the top of the bobbin in this direction, just drop your bobbin right into the bobbin race, and there's a little slanted slot just right there in the corner. You'll see the notch in your slide plate. It's right across from that notch in your slide plate. So go into that little notch and then back behind the little flat leaf spring until you feel it pop into place. And now your thread is behind the lower tensioner. That's what that little flat leaf spring is. You can leave your slide plate open or guide your slide plate into that little notch there, either way. But just be careful you're not pinching it between the two pieces of the slide plate. Now to thread the machine, let's use white. No, let's use red for this, because we're going to be sewing on some denim, and blue is not going to show up real well. So put your spool on the spool pin. Go into the thread guide at the top. Now go down between the discs of the tension assembly, which is right here, and all the way to the top, and then come back down. And as you come back down, you'll pick up this the check spring here, this little thin check spring. Then go under this thread guide and up to the take-up lever. And down to this thread guide on the faceplate, and it should just pop in from the side. There's another thread guide right here, and let's see, is there a thread guide on the needle clamp? No, this 100-and-some-year-old machine does not have a thread guide on the needle clamp. Thread through the needle from the left to the right. Okay. Make sure you're still in your thread guide down here. Now, holding your needle thread loosely, turn the hand wheel towards you 1 full revolution, and the needle will take the thread down where the hook will pick it up, wrap it around the bobbin, and bring up your lower thread. There's the lower thread. If you turn the hand wheel and nothing happens, make sure that you tightened the chrome knob in the center of the hand wheel. Put the thread between the toes of the pressure foot towards the back of the machine, and now we're ready to sew. As I said, this is your stitch length adjustment. There's no reverse on this machine. So if you need to back tack, just turn your fabric around and sew forward on it, and that'll make your back tack. So the further in you turn it, the longer your stitches get. The further out you turn it, the shorter your stitches get. So we're going to go for a medium short stitch here And let's see, anything else you need to know before we start? Your tension, this is your tension, as I mentioned before, and this knurled thumb screw is your adjuster. And just adjust it until your stitch length is balanced on the top and bottom, so that the stitches from the top are pulling up the stitches from the bottom, and the stitches from the bottom are pulling down the stitches from the top. So your lock stitch should basically meet in the middle of the fabric. If your bottom stitch is just kind of laying on top of the other thread and not pulling it up, you probably need a little more tension. Anyway, so give it a little gas. And oh, one more thing. This is your the pressure on your sewing foot, and you want just enough pressure to move the fabric along with authority. Too much pressure bogs down the machine, and it can mar delicate fabric. Okay, that's it. Turn it clockwise to add more pressure. Turn it counterclockwise to release the pressure. That's about all the controls there are on this machine. So here we go. Okay, a longer stitch length. Back tack. Forward again. That's it. Oh, I know. Let's do a really short stitch. Okay, not that short. What have I done? Oh, I see. Let it stay in one place too long in it. Made a little ball of thread under the fabric, which got stuck in the needle hole, so the fabric did not want to move. So there is a limit to how short you can make your stitches. And that's it. That's the limit. Okay, all right. Stretching my limits here. Anyway, you've got a really fine machine, beautifully decorated, as I said, by Nick D'Angelo. And she's running and sewing just great. And after I hear back from you about whether you would prefer a hand crank or a motor, then we'll get her packed up and send her home to you. And again, thank you so much. We appreciate your patronage. You help us keep doing what we love to do, which is restoring these beautiful old sewing machines.